Becoming disciplined when you feel lazy is not about forcing yourself to become a completely different person overnight. It is about understanding how motivation, habits, and energy actually work in real life. Most people believe that disciplined people always feel motivated. They imagine that successful individuals wake up every day full of energy and determination. But the truth is very different. Discipline is not built on motivation. Discipline is built on systems and habits that continue to work even when motivation disappears. Lazy days are normal. Everyone experiences them. The difference between people who stay stuck and people who move forward is how they respond to those lazy moments. When you understand how to manage your mind and your environment, discipline becomes something you can practice every day instead of something you wait to feel. The first thing you must understand is that laziness is often misunderstood. Many people think laziness means weakness or lack of character, but in many cases it is simply a signal from your brain. Your brain is designed to conserve energy whenever possible. From an evolutionary perspective, saving energy helped humans survive difficult environments. That is why your brain naturally prefers easy tasks over difficult ones. Scrolling on your phone, watching videos, or avoiding work feels comfortable because these activities require very little mental effort. When you try to start a challenging task, your brain reacts by creating resistance. That resistance feels like laziness. But once you realize that this reaction is normal, it becomes easier to manage. Discipline begins when you stop waiting for your brain to feel comfortable and instead start taking action despite the resistance. One powerful strategy for becoming disciplined is to focus on starting rather than finishing. Many people feel lazy because they think about the entire task at once. When a goal feels too big, your brain immediately looks for a way to escape it. For example, if you think about studying for 3 hours, exercising for an hour, or completing a long project, your mind quickly becomes overwhelmed. The task appears heavy and difficult before you even begin. A simple but effective solution is to reduce the starting point. Instead of telling yourself to work for hours, tell yourself to work for 5 minutes. 5 minutes feels small enough that your brain does not strongly resist it. Once you begin, something interesting happens. Momentum starts building. After 5 minutes, continuing for another 5 minutes feels easier. The hardest part of discipline is not doing the work, it is starting the work. Another important principle of discipline is designing your environment in a way that supports your goals. Many people rely entirely on willpower, but willpower is unreliable. Your energy and focus change throughout the day. If your environment is full of distractions, it becomes extremely difficult to stay disciplined. Think about what happens when your phone is constantly nearby while you are trying to work. Every notification pulls your attention away from the task. Instead of fighting this temptation every few minutes, remove the distraction completely. Put your phone in another room. Turn off notifications. Keep your workspace clean and simple. When your environment reduces distractions, discipline becomes much easier because you are not constantly fighting against temptation. Consistency is another critical element of discipline. People often believe that intense effort leads to success. They try to work extremely hard for a few days and then burn out. After that, they stop completely for several days or even weeks. This cycle destroys progress. True discipline comes from steady, repeated action over a long period of time. Small daily efforts may not feel impressive at first, but they create powerful results over time. Imagine improving your skills for 30 minutes every day. At the end of one day, the progress may seem small, but after 1 month, you have invested 15 hours of focused practice. After a year, you have built hundreds of hours of experience. Discipline grows when you focus on daily consistency instead of occasional bursts of motivation. Another reason people struggle with discipline is that they focus too much on outcomes instead of processes. When your attention is always on the final result, the path toward that result can feel long and exhausting. For example, someone who wants to get fit may constantly think about losing weight or building muscle. If progress is slow, frustration quickly appears. But disciplined individuals shift their focus toward the process. Instead of thinking about the final result, they think about the next workout, the next healthy meal, or the next small improvement. By focusing on the process, the journey becomes manageable. Each small action becomes a step forward rather than a reminder of how far you still have to go. Energy management also plays a major role in discipline. Many people blame themselves for feeling lazy when the real problem is physical or mental exhaustion. If you are constantly tired, staying disciplined becomes extremely difficult. Sleep, nutrition, and physical activity directly affect your ability to focus and work consistently. Lack of sleep reduces concentration and increases procrastination. Poor nutrition can make you feel sluggish and unfocused. Regular physical activity improves both energy levels and mental clarity. Discipline becomes much easier when your body has the energy needed to support your goals. Taking care of your physical health is not separate from discipline. It is a fundamental part of it. Another useful technique for building discipline is setting clear and realistic goals. Vague goals often lead to procrastination because your brain does not know exactly what to do. For example, a goal like be more productive is too unclear. Your mind cannot easily translate it into action. A clearer goal might be write 500 words today or study English for 30 minutes. When goals are specific and measurable, it becomes easier to start working. You know exactly what needs to be done, and you can track your progress more easily. Clear goals create structure, and structure reduces the mental effort required to begin a task. Accountability can also strengthen discipline. When you are the only person aware of your goals, it is easier to ignore them. But when someone else knows about your commitment, the situation changes. Sharing your goals with a friend, mentor, or community creates a sense of responsibility. You are more likely to follow through because you do not want to disappoint others or appear inconsistent. Accountability does not have to be complicated. It can be as simple as reporting your progress to someone at the end of each week. Knowing that someone will ask about your progress encourages you to stay disciplined even when motivation fades. Tracking your progress is another powerful method for maintaining discipline. Progress is one of the most motivating forces in human behavior. When you can see improvement, even small improvement, it encourages you to continue. This is why many disciplined individuals use journals, habit trackers, or simple checklists. Each completed task becomes visible proof of effort. Over time, these small records build a powerful sense of momentum. When you look back and see how consistently you have been working, it becomes harder to break the streak. Tracking progress turns discipline into something tangible rather than something abstract. It is also important to understand that discipline does not mean perfection. Many people give up on their goals after making a mistake. They miss one workout, skip one study session, or break one habit, and then they feel like they have failed completely. This mindset is extremely damaging. Mistakes are a normal part of any long-term effort. Disciplined individuals do not avoid mistakes. They recover quickly from them. If you miss one day, return to your routine the next day. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to be consistent over time. Progress is created through persistence, not perfection. Developing discipline also requires learning how to manage your thoughts. Your mind often produces excuses that sound reasonable but prevent action. Thoughts like, I will start tomorrow, I am not in the mood, or I will do it later, appear frequently when you are about to begin something difficult. These thoughts feel convincing in the moment, but they usually lead to procrastination. A disciplined person learns to recognize these patterns and act anyway. Instead of debating with every excuse, they focus on the next small action. Action weakens excuses. The more often you act despite resistance, the weaker that resistance becomes. Another helpful approach is to create routines that reduce decision-making. Every decision requires mental energy. If you constantly decide when to work, when to exercise, or when to practice a skill, your brain becomes tired of making choices. Eventually, it chooses the easiest option, which is often doing nothing. Routines remove this problem. When a task becomes part of your daily schedule, you no longer need to decide whether to do it. You simply follow the routine. Many disciplined individuals follow structured daily schedules because routines transform effort into habit. Reward systems can also support discipline when used correctly. Your brain responds strongly to rewards because rewards reinforce behavior. After completing an important task, giving yourself a small reward can strengthen the habit of taking action. The reward does not need to be large. It could be something simple like enjoying a short break, watching an episode of a show, or spending time on a hobby you enjoy. The key is to connect the reward with the completion of the task. Over time, your brain begins to associate discipline with positive outcomes. Patience is another essential quality in the process of building discipline. Many people expect quick results and become discouraged when progress is slow. Discipline is similar to building physical strength. Just as muscles grow gradually through repeated training, mental discipline develops through repeated effort. Each day you follow your routine. Even when you feel lazy, you strengthen your ability to control your actions. At first, the improvement may seem small, but over time the difference becomes dramatic. Tasks that once felt difficult become normal parts of your daily life. Finally, it is important to remember that discipline is not about being harsh with yourself. It is about building a life that supports your long-term goals and values. When you practice discipline consistently, you gain something far more valuable than temporary motivation. You gain control over your time, your habits, and your future direction. Lazy days will still appear from time to time, but they will no longer control your actions. Instead of waiting for motivation to arrive, you will rely on the systems and habits you have built. Over time, these systems transform discipline from a struggle into a natural part of who you are. Another important thing to remember is that discipline becomes easier when you clearly understand why you want to change your life. Many people try to build discipline without having a strong reason behind their effort. When the purpose is weak, laziness easily wins. But when your reason is meaningful, your mind begins to see effort as necessary rather than optional. Your reason could be improving your career, creating a better future for your family, building confidence, or simply becoming the best version of yourself. When you remind yourself of this reason regularly, your actions start aligning with your long-term goals. Purpose gives discipline direction and strength. You should also learn to celebrate small victories along the way. Every day that you follow your routine, every task you complete, and every moment you choose action over procrastination is progress. These small wins may seem simple, but they slowly reshape your mindset. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who struggles with laziness, you begin to see yourself as someone who takes action. This identity shift is powerful because once you believe you are a disciplined person, your behavior naturally starts to match that belief. In the end, discipline is not a talent that only a few people possess. It is a skill that anyone can develop through patience, repetition, and commitment. Some days will be easier than others, and some days will feel challenging. But if you continue showing up, even when you feel lazy, you will gradually build the habits and mindset that create lasting discipline. Over time, the effort you once struggled to begin will start feeling natural, and the person you are becoming will be stronger, more focused, and ready to achieve bigger goals.